Well, here we are, another edition of the Octo Effect podcast. Joining me this evening, one of my favorite guests, Cynthia Sotomayor. Cynthia, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Jim?
Good. I'm doing good. So you have taken part in this ceremony. Okay.
Huh.
What is the name of the ceremony?
It's a Kambo. It's a Kambo ceremony, and it's a mini ceremony. The entire ceremony probably lasts from beginning to end about an hour.
Okay.
From
All right.
from the time you get there to the time you leave, you recover and you leave. Yeah, it's a very short ceremony compared to other ceremonies.
When you told me you were doing this, I looked it up, and this is a practice where a person receives a secretion from the skin of a giant leaf frog from the Amazon, and it's applied to small burns on the skin. And First and foremost, is the frog hurt in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
All
not
right.
at all.
Now, this is a poisonous frog.
I don't like the word poison.
Okay.
The secretion that is used, it's medicinal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's peptides. It's these peptides that are working inside your body that are causing you. So what this medicine causes is for you to release toxins. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it goes into many of your systems: the nervous system, cardiovascular system, digestive system, and there's cardiovascular and the immune system. Okay.
And how is this applied?
It is applied with small burns to your skin. All these little dots you see here are little burns. The dots on top were my first ceremony. The ones on the bottom were my second ceremony. So
now,
this practitioner.
How far apart were the ceremonies?
1 week. 1 week.
1 week.
The
okay.
ideal way to do Kambo, like the very first time that I did it 1 year ago, I only did one time, and I got benefits and everything. But like after Kambo, you feel very clear. You feel very light. You are completely detoxed of heavy metals, of what do you call it? The parasites, heavy metals.
Okay.
And anything else that may be toxic in your body. Okay. So it's
how do they get it into your body?
So these ports, they burn little ports on the outermost skin of your outermost layer of skin, and it doesn't burn, it doesn't hurt. And so once those ports are burnt, then they apply the medicine. Okay, this medicine is shipped. They take it from the frog, and it's shipped obviously from the Amazon. And then it comes in a little piece of wood, and then the practitioner scrapes that off the piece of wood and applies it onto the ports. Once that before this happens, you're supposed to drink 3/4 of a liter of water. You're gonna be fasting because you don't want to have any. You also have to detox from any medication that you might have been taking, depending on the medication. And even supplements you have to detox from, depending on which medication, which supplement. There is a certain designated period of time that you need to wait before and after Kambo to take medication or drugs or alcohol or any of all these things. Okay.
And how do you figure out what that time frame is? How is that figured out? Is it
there's a whole, they send you a whole list of indications.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's also many contraindications, such as like if you have heart issues, there's many contraindications, for health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are also all disclosed before, for the person receiving the medicine by the practitioner. So anyway, so you drink the water, and then they apply the medicine. After they apply the medicine, almost immediately, like a minute after you apply, then you start feeling the symptoms. So the first thing you begin to feel is a flush of blood. Mm-hmm. And the blood flushes through your entire body. You turn completely red. It's visible.
Right.
And then you begin to feel your hands tighten, your muscles of your hands kind of tighten.
Okay.
And then you start feeling your face and your throat begin to swell.
You
And you
kind of
swell
sounds like
up.
a Saturday night for me so far. So yeah. So I'm
Well,
sorry, but anyways, go on. I mean, now like? Are you going? Are you having anxiety right now? What this starting to happen to your body?
your heart begins to beat faster because it goes into the cardiovascular system. You
Hmm.
do get out your heart beats faster, but not in a dangerous way. Like if you're running, like if you're doing some cardiovascular
Okay.
exercise.
All right.
Okay, so you feel your heart beat faster, and then the urge to purge comes.
How far
And
into it? How far into it are
about
you?
5 minutes for me.
Wow.
About five
Jeez.
minutes for me. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's you begin to feel sick, like really, really sick, as if you had a flu-like symptoms. Everything hurts. You feel like hell
Hmm.
for a very short period of time, and then you purge. The purging doesn't always have to happen. There's other ways. The peptides are still doing their work inside your body. Even if you don't purge, you're still getting benefits. Okay.
Right.
So once you're done purging,
How long
you
do you
feel
purge
very,
for?
very tired.
How long is it? Like,
Probably I was there about 10 minutes.
oh, okay. All right.
About 10 minutes. I thought I was done, and then more came, and then you think you're done, but then more comes until
Right.
you're sure that you're completely done. Then you kind of pass out because you're exhausted. It's very exhausting. That
Hmm.
very short period of time feeling so sick, you want to rest.
Right.
So personally, I passed out for about 10-15 minutes, and then you wake up and the swelling begins to subside. You begin to feel back to normal. And after a few hours, you are completely clear-headed, energized. I mean, you feel like you're supposed to feel, which is healthy. Like we're supposed to not have pain. If you have any
Right.
inflammation, that also it takes care of that. Which
So
I,
when
you
you
know,
said, yeah, and I'm going to continue this, but you said that you passed out and you're out for like 10 minutes. Are you dreaming? Do you remember anything? Is it like
you don't.
psychedelic dreams? Are you,
No,
what's going
no.
on?
It's not psychoactive. Kambo is not psychoactive. Not at all. There's nothing psychedelic about it. So I didn't pass out I lost consciousness. I was just
Mhm.
exhausted.
Okay. Right.
I took a nap.
Right.
I took a
So
nap.
once you start kind of getting out of it,
Yeah.
how
So I woke
far
up.
into it is it when you start feeling better?
Well, after I woke up, I was already feeling better. 100%, probably about 2 hours after the fact.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, so explain the feeling that you have now. Well, no, wait. After the first one, because I want to
Mhm.
ask, why did you go back for a second one? So you had the first one done,
Mhm.
and what was the reason you wanted the first one done? Just to purge, to get rid of
To
toxins?
cleanse. Yeah. To detoxify my body, to detox.
And is that detoxify from foods and chemicals that are around us? And is it bad energy? Is it all that?
Everything. And it detoxifies energy. It detoxifies trauma. It can take care, physically, heavy metals,
Mhm.
parasites, any toxins that you may have in your body. When people also want to get clean from either drugs or alcohol, they go through the designated period of time, depending on the substance, and then they want to do Kambo. Once they do Kambo, their urge to go do that substance again is largely subsided. Like it's really good for addiction, for people not to go back into.
I'm reading more and more. I know Canada is working with plant medicines, psychedelics, this for heroin addiction specifically. And they're trying to get it here to make it legal. I don't ever see that happening because as we know, the big pharma wants to make money. So they're, obviously, you're going to get the synthetic stuff. You're going to get anything, it's going to become man-made. But let's get off of that.
You can't patent a plant, and you can't
Right.
patent a frog.
Right. But they will figure out a way to do it somehow, some way. They'll make money off it. So you get your first one done, and you're feeling good, right?
You're feeling good. Yes. Mm-hmm. But the three is the charm. Because you just get more and more things out of you, more toxins out of you, the more you do.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 is enough for you to be completely clean.
Okay. You mean three
sessions. 3 sessions.
Right.
Like I'm doing them 1 week apart, one from the other. I've got 2 so far. I got 1 more to go.
Okay. So are you exhausted at this point?
No, right now I feel amazing.
So you got good energy. And then how long does those 3 sessions last?
You mean like feeling good and feeling energy and all
until you decide you want to do
go do another one? Well, it's hard to tell. Because you feel good. I guess when if you're gonna go do more toxins. I mean, there's toxins everywhere. There's toxins in the air. There's toxins in the water. There's toxins in our food.
Right. And this pen that I'm holding.
If you if you do once a month, then you're good. If you do it once a month, then you're clean.
Right. So there's all kinds of plant-based medicines out there, but there's one, and it's not really plant-based. It's actually, I think it's soil-based. It's ivermectin. You familiar with that?
Mm-hmm. I've heard about ivermectin being highly effective for the treatment of cancer and also for the reversal of the COVID-19 symptoms. I am not putting this on stone. It's just something I've heard.
No, actually, I believe it was Mel Gibson was on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about this, and apparently he had 4 friends that started taking this, and they're cancer-free, and they were stage 4. So, and that's where I kind of start wondering to myself, do they really have cures for these things? Because all of a sudden, this is a medicine I believe was made for animals at first. It was first sold as an animal health product in 1981. And I remember some people were using it for COVID, and they were getting ridiculed. And I think some people did pass. I don't know, but I see here it's not made from a plant, but from the soil bacterium.
I'm unfamiliar with ivermectin.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
So what do you take for different things, plant-based? Let's say, I don't know, you got a headache. What do you go to?
Reiki.
Okay. All right. So there's nothing you take. It's just, it becomes a mindset.
Reiki, and I put pressure on this part of my hand right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if somebody out there wants to start learning this stuff? How do they go about it? Because I want to kind of go down, you got a headache, and, let's say you got cold symptoms. You got a, stuffy head. What do you do?
Oregano, echinacea, elderberry. These are all good for immunity. But I never take medication. I always go for the natural.
Okay.
And
so
there is a cure in nature for everything.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, where do you get this? Do you grow it? Do you have it? Do you go to the store?
You either go to a store, you order it, or you know people.
Mm-hmm.
You're connected with the community, the plant medicine community. Like, I'm part of a large community of plant medicine. And, as a healer, I'm also connected to a large community, a spiritual community, and healers. So there's a lot of resources around, and this community is growing. The natural healing is growing now that RFK is here. Um, I'm very, very excited to see all the natural stuff coming into the West.
Mm-hmm. Have you
Very, very
ever in
excited.
your life taken like medicine other than plant based?
I'm a huge insomniac. I used to take
Mm.
Xanax. I used to be prescribed Xanax.
Okay.
Which is
Right.
the biggest freaking poison that I could have ever introduced into my body. I was on Xanax for about 6 months until
Mm-hmm.
I started getting depressed, and I started getting like my personality completely changed. That wasn't me anymore.
Right.
And that's what these medications do. I mean, medicines, you're introducing a spirit into your body. They are spirits. They are, but not so. Alcohol is called a spirit because
Right.
it's really changing your personality. You are not yourself when you are under the influence of either medication or alcohol. You're
Mm-hmm.
actually taking the spirit of this substance, and it's changing your personality. Look at people that are on prescription for a long period of the time. They're numb.
Yeah.
They're numb.
So,
They're changing personality.
what do you take for insomnia? Do you still have it?
I take cannabis.
Okay. And it works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So,
take cannabis gummies, and they knocked me out, and I completely eliminated all pharmaceuticals.
right. And so, what, like, why? I would think you can like write a book as to, like a cookbook almost for ailments, or kind of just start that, because I know, like, I have back issues, and it's just a lot of it's from my own doing because I didn't take care of it when I needed to. I like rest up, and I still continue to play volleyball, which is, my doctor's like, if you want to walk again, you're going to want to stop for like 6 months. So,
Mm.
so there's a lot of inflammation. So what is something that would be good for me
For
to?
inflammation, arnica. Arnica is
Arnica?
amazing for arnica.
And
Turmeric.
and what is arnica?
Arnica comes from, I believe it's a flower, and it's natural. And the way I discovered it is when my babies were little, I used to put it on their butt when they would get diaper rash, and I figured out that is the best thing for anything skin.
Okay.
No, that's calendula.
Oh,
Arnica is inflammation.
yeah.
Inflammation. So arnica is sold in form of little pellets that you dissolve under your tongue, and then they also have the cream. So when you take by mouth orally, you're healing from the inside, cellularly, molecularly, and when you put them on your skin topically, obviously you're healing from the outside. So it's best to take both ways. That's the best thing for inflammation.
Now, where do I find this? Because you said this is like a tight knit community. Do I have to
Oh,
go meet some guy at like
no,
Valero
no,
and say,
no.
hey, I need
No,
some
no, no, no.
arnica?
Arnica is even in Walgreens. You'll find arnica. Yeah, Whole Foods are Walgreens, Amazon. Arnica is ready. It's easy to get.
But is that the natural one?
Now,
Like
arnica is
buying it from?
homeopathic.
But what I'm saying is buying it from a Walgreens or buying it from a, like, that's what I have in my head is like, why would I go to like Walgreens to buy
because
holistic type medicine?
Walgreens because Walgreens does they got on the bandwagon, then they realized they were missing out by not selling natural homeopathic things, so now they started. So, but they're buying it from the labs, from the same labs that say Whole Food buys it. It's
Right.
Boyer and Labs. Boyer and Labs is the best for arnica, as far as I'm concerned.
See, my whole
And
thing is with holistic and plant-based medicines. In my head, I picture eating like leaves and roots, and like that's holistic to me. I just can't walk into Walgreens and buy a bottle of pellets and go, okay, this is holistic. It's just that whole thing I have in my head. And,
Mhm.
like I envision myself going to some little shack somewhere, and, a couple hippies back there, and they get it all together, and they're just, you just grab a bag of stuff and you just sit
There's
there and
people that
eat
live
it.
like that. Yeah,
You
there's people
know,
that live like that. And, I mean, they're the indigenous communities. They get everything from nature. They just grow their plants, and they do their remedies, and the shamanic remedies and plants and rituals are highly effective. They work with nature. They work with the elements.
right. What I'm actually amazed at right now is the number of people that I've come in contact in since we started doing these series of people
Mhm.
who have done ayahuasca. Like
Mhm.
there's not a day that doesn't go by where I haven't ran into somebody and the conversation went to that, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I do it, 3 times a year. I go to Costa Rica, or I go to Peru, or I go, wherever." Um,
Mhm.
so there, to me, and maybe it's just that I'm more conscious of it now, but it seems like more people are dipping their toes into um, this world, if you will. I think some people are doing it just to do it, just to that wow factor. I really do.
Mhm.
Um, but I honestly believe that people are looking for alternatives. So what are some of the things that you would tell somebody who's never done plant-based medicine before? What are some things that they want to start looking into? What are some resources that they can use?
You mean just like, are you talking about like sacred plants, like ceremonial plants, like
No,
ayahuasca, mushrooms, that kind
no,
of stuff, or
no.
plants in general?
Plants in general, like we were talking about. You have a runny nose, or you have a headache, or you have inflammation. Where does somebody start? Because there's so much stuff on the
There's
internet,
so much stuff in the internet.
and you
I
don't
mean, it's
know.
just discernment. I mean, people are gonna go Google stuff, and it's just discernment. Keep in mind that the pharmaceutical companies have the upper hand, and
Mhm.
they have the first Google. So
Yeah.
just be this discernment on what looks natural, what looks holistic, what looks like it's not in the hands of a pharmaceutical company.
So
You
what
know what
what
I
are some
mean?
yeah what are some red flags? Because you got both ends of the spectrum. You have pharmaceutical companies over here, and then all of a sudden you got you know you know Joe in his garage who's making something out of something that he claims can cure, be the end all be all. So what are you looking for? What are some red flags?
Well, I wouldn't just go where Joe that I don't know. I would only go with people that I know to be genuine.
Right.
And that's another thing. If you're gonna go engage with plant medicine, make sure that the person, that your facilitator, knows how to navigate these realms.
And how do you vet that person? Like they don't carry a card and and say, "Hey, I'm
Well, there's shamans that
right."
come, and it's a little funny. It's a delicate subject, but there's shamans that come, and
Hmm.
and I mean, word of mouth with the community, and there's ways of finding out if somebody calls himself a healer or a shaman or a facilitator just because they've said a couple of times, which has happened. I know a lot of
Right.
I know of a lot of people that call themselves healers and shamans, and that they can serve plant medicine just because they sat a couple of times through a ceremony themselves.
Hmm.
And this is just a recipe for disasters, because if somebody goes into some sort of panic or some sort of like bad negative, like dark trip, and the facilitator doesn't know how to deal with that,
Can be
it's a
very
very
dangerous.
it could be very dangerous, because you are wide open
Hmm.
to these energies, and these energies can come into you, and if you don't know how to deal with them, it could turn into something really really nasty and
Well,
disastrous.
and that's kind of where I'm trying to go with this is, there are people out there that do that. There's just like,
Mhm.
there's people out there that claim to do other things.
Mhm.
So, and people fall for it. And when I say fall for it, I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just because they don't know better. So I just trying to, figure out what would be something that, because you said there's communities out there, and I'm sure there's great communities. I'm sure there's some really, people that don't know what they're doing that claim to have a
Yeah.
community. So
Yeah.
that's where you gotta, that's how do you
Word of
piece it
mouth,
together? Is
discernment.
it?
Ask people that I mean, like the people that I've sat with, the shamans that I've sat with, is that I know that you're shamans. Like
Mm,
they are lineage, direct lineage. They were
mm,
born into a family of shaman. From ayahuasca, from yahe, from since they're little kids, they're exposed to it.
right. And those are the ones that you want to connect with, obviously.
Yes, yes.
So you would probably want to kind of research the person, see what they're saying, if they're, you know, I mean,
What
they
they've
don't,
done in the past, like any historical, their history.
you know,
Is there?
are there
Go
Yelp
ahead.
review? I mean, come on. I mean, I'm
No.
not trying to make a joke of it, but my job on this show is to put information out there, but I want to make sure that people have the right information, and you're the expert in this field. I'm just a guy with a microphone who has questions. That's so again, do the research, get plugged in somehow, somewhere to communities. Don't jump into it right
And
away.
no, yes, yes. And make sure you have no contraindications too.
Know what?
Make sure contraindications, things
Oh,
that are, yeah, like dangerous, this conditions, or you're taking medication. Make sure you disclose everything
right.
to the practitioner, to the person that's starting the medicine. They need to
Now,
know everything.
if somebody wants to do this and they go see their physician, do you think their physician would say, no, don't do it?
Like what? To do what?
Well, because there was a lot of things I've been reading, especially on this ceremony that you did, and you're reading everything. Okay. And it starts getting confusing because it's like, okay, they say if you want to do it, you should, I saw a lot with heart conditions or medical conditions. And then it said, consult your physician. I saw a few
Yeah.
of those. I mean, who's going to go to their doctor and go, I want to get,
Nobody.
shot with some frog venom? I
They're
mean,
not.
they're not.
Doctors are not even. They're not even familiar with these plants. They're not. They studied in med school in the U.S. So they are
Mm,
very limited. I'm sorry to any physician looking at this, but they're very limited with their tools for healing. They're only prescribing medication. I mean, unless it's like a surgery or something like that. But they're not. They're ignorant to natural remedies. They're ignorant to homeopathy. They're ignorant to energy. So a doctor is going to prescribe you what a doctor knows.
right.
An acupuncturist is going to want to put needles on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A person like me is going to want to do Reiki on you. So whatever the profession is, that the expertise of that person, that's what they're going to recommend. So you go to a physician asking them, what does he think about ayahuasca and Kambo? They're going to laugh in your face
Right.
because they're out of ignorance.
Right.
They don't know.
Yeah. Just like, if somebody asks you to do something and you're just like, why am I asking permission to do this kind of thing? What are some other plant-based medicines that, like for hair, for example, do you shampoo with plant-based
No.
medicine?
No.
No.
I mean, the more natural you go, the better. You read the
Mhm.
ingredients, and when you have 1,000 ingredients in your shampoo, you don't want that. You want the one that has
Right.
5 ingredients. You
Right.
know what I mean? And the same
So
goes for anything you put on your body or in your body, into your body. The least ingredients, the better. And
so
anything that you can't pronounce, don't do it.
well, half the stuff you read, I was like, wait, what? I'm sitting here trying to Google it as you're saying it. And I'm like, how do you spell that? So you're going again one more time, right?
For the
With
combo,
this?
yeah, I have one more.
Yeah.
One way to go.
Okay. And then you also did something, or you're going to do something that we're going to talk about on our next show. What is that?
We're going to talk about access consciousness. It
Right.
is a
And give it.
form of energy therapy, another therapy that I facilitate.
Mhm.
Let me tell you a little bit about it.
Yes, please.
Okay, so access consciousness is a little bit hard to explain. So what it does pretty much is like deprogramming, because when from the minute we are born, we're giving a name, we're giving a religion, we're told who, you know, who our family is, we're told what we believe in. We are programmed. We're bombarded with programming since the moment we are born, through childhood, through school, through adulthood. So access consciousness clears all that programming. It works to get all that programming out. It's like clearing your hard drive
Mm-hmm.
to allow new things to come into your life, because
Nice.
we limit ourselves. So the possibilities that in the realm of quantum physics, the possibilities are always endless. So
Right.
access consciousness teaches you that the possibilities are always endless. And it is so the therapy is based in, there's 32 points in our heads that the practitioner positions into to the person receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And you run, it's called running bars. So you run bars, you're running energy through that body, because you're clearing all that information that is stored in our cells.
Wow.
It's
Yeah. All right. So always fascinating having a conversation with you, because I mean, just more things keep popping into my head, and I'll text you and say, what is this? No. But so tell everybody how to get in touch with you, because if they want to talk to you about anything that we talked about on the show, how does somebody reach out to you?
My Instagram, Cynthia Sotomayor.
Sotomayor.
QINTH Sotomayor, yes.
And I'll put it in the show notes. Cynthia, it's always a pleasure. And I definitely want to talk about this in our next get together,
Yes.
because I'm going to have a lot of questions on that. So absolutely. Thank you so much for rushing from what you had to do and getting here and making all this happen. So I do appreciate it.
Sorry for being late.
Oh, don't, please. I mean, come on. I mean, you're the best. So thank you for the education, and we will talk soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you.